Welcome back to the Echoes of Ihsan podcast. Today we're doing a deep dive into the spiritual practice of fasting and looking through the lens of Imam al-Ghazali's work.
Yes.
The Mysteries of Fasting.
I love that book.
It's an amazing book. Like, there's just so much in there.
Yeah.
And, it really unpacks the kind of hidden dimensions of fasting in Islam. And honestly, I'm just really looking forward to discovering all those layers with you.
Me too. Me too. It's a journey that goes way beyond just like the physical act of abstaining from food and drink.
Right.
And al-Ghazali, is just such a prominent scholar of, Islamic thought, and he just really delves into the deeper spiritual and psychological dimensions of fasting. And it's really eye-opening, revealing its transformative potential.
Yeah, I mean, most people, when they think of fasting, they associate it with Ramadan.
Right.
And just, not eating or drinking during the daylight hours.
Yeah.
So is that all there is to it?
Absolutely not. There's so much more. One of the key ideas that al-Ghazali introduces is this concept of fasting of the senses.
Oh.
So he argues that true fasting involves not only abstaining from, physical nourishment, but also consciously guarding our senses from negativity and distractions like sight, hearing, and speech.
Okay, fasting of the senses?
Yeah.
That's a new one for me. I've never heard that before.
Oh, it's fascinating.
Yeah.
So think about it. How often do we find ourselves bombarded with images and sounds and conversations that honestly just clutter our minds?
Totally.
And pull us away from inner peace? Just the doom scrolling on social media, getting caught up in gossip and just constant information overload.
All the time. Especially as Muslims in this day and age.
Yeah.
It feels like there's always some drama unfolding. Like, if it's not something on social media, it's something, on the news.
Totally.
And it's just a lot to take in. And it feels like a lot of times we're just consuming negativity.
Right. And that's where the fasting of the senses comes in.
Okay.
It's about making that conscious effort to minimize those distractions.
Yeah.
To be more mindful of what we're allowing into our hearts and minds.
So it's not about totally shutting yourself off from the world.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
It's about choosing to focus on what nourishes our soul and brings us closer to, the divine.
So instead of, spending hours binging on Netflix or mindlessly scrolling through social media, maybe spend that time in quiet reflection or reading something uplifting.
Yes.
Just being present in the moment. Yeah.
Yes. It's about creating space.
Yeah.
For stillness and contemplation, and shifting our focus from the external to the internal.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got physical fasting, we've got fasting of the senses, but didn't you mention something about fasting of the heart?
Yes.
What is that?
That's where it gets even more profound.
Okay.
Fasting of the heart, as described by al-Ghazali, it goes beyond just our physical actions and senses, and it delves into the realm of our intentions, our desires, our motivations.
Okay.
So he argues that true fasting involves purifying our hearts from negative qualities like envy, arrogance, greed, hypocrisy, ill intentions.
So it's not enough to just, abstain from food and gossip.
Right.
We've got to actually purify our hearts from these negative qualities.
Exactly.
How do we even begin to do that? That just seems like such a tall order.
It is a journey.
Right.
It is, and al-Ghazali acknowledges that.
Okay.
But he emphasizes the importance of cultivating sincerity in all of our actions.
Yeah.
Ensuring that our outward actions are a reflection of our inner state.
Okay.
Constantly checking our intentions and making sure they're aligned with, our values and with the divine.
Okay. Yeah. So it's almost like a spiritual detox.
Exactly.
You're cleansing your heart.
Yes.
From all those things that are weighing you down, clouding your judgment.
Yes. And, this idea of the fasting of the heart feels especially relevant today.
Yeah.
When we're constantly bombarded with messages that fuel our desires.
Yeah.
And encourage materialism and self-centeredness.
Right.
Everywhere you look, there's pressure to consume, acquire more,
Totally.
present a certain image to the world.
It's so easy to get caught up in that cycle.
Absolutely.
Striving for external validation and always comparing yourself to others.
Yeah.
It's exhausting.
It is. And al-Ghazali reminds us that true contentment doesn't come from external possessions or achievements,
Right.
but it comes from inner peace and connection with the divine.
Right.
Fasting of the heart, he argues, really helps us break free from those chains of desire and find true fulfillment.
It's about like realigning your priorities.
Yeah.
Focusing on, spiritual growth rather than getting caught up in, the material world.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so we've got these different layers of fasting.
Yes.
The physical, the senses, and the heart. But how does al-Ghazali kind of like connect all these together?
Okay.
Does he see them as like separate practices or as part of a larger whole?
That's where his categorization of fasting into 3 grades comes in.
Okay.
The general fast, the special fast, and the extra special fast.
Okay.
Each grade kind of builds upon the previous one, representing a deeper level of like spiritual engagement and purification.
So they're interconnected.
Exactly. It's like steps on a ladder leading to greater spiritual awareness.
Okay, break it down for me.
Okay.
So what are the characteristics of each grade?
The general fast is like the most common and fundamental level.
Okay.
It involves abstaining from food and drink, as prescribed, fulfilling the outward requirements of the fast. This is what most people think of when they think of fasting, particularly during Ramadan. But al-Ghazali emphasizes that this is just the first step.
Okay, so what would elevate someone to the special fast then?
The special fast goes beyond the physical abstinence.
Okay.
And it incorporates the fasting of the senses that we were talking about.
Yeah.
It's about, being more aware of what we allow into our minds and hearts. Choosing to focus on what uplifts and inspires us.
So you're adding another layer of intentionality to the practice.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it's not just about the physical act.
Right.
It's about cultivating that, like, deeper awareness of your thoughts and your actions.
Absolutely.
Okay, and then you said the pinnacle.
Yes, the extra special fast.
Extra special fast.
Okay. This grade focuses on the purification of the heart.
Right.
Striving for a state of complete sincerity, where even like the subtlest of intentions are aligned with the divine.
Wow. That sounds incredibly challenging.
It is challenging.
To like have every thought and intention be pure.
It is.
And aligned with the divine. That's like a high bar to set. Did al-Ghazali actually expect people to reach this level?
It is challenging, but it's an ideal to strive for.
Yeah.
It's a reminder of the transformative potential of fasting when it's practiced with sincerity and deep understanding.
Okay.
And actually he shares a story in The Mysteries of Fasting that I think perfectly illustrates this.
Okay.
It's about a man who approached a wise scholar, and he was like, how can I attain true closeness to God? And the scholar said, refrain from harming any creature, no matter how small, for 40 days. Yeah. So the man diligently followed this advice. And on the 40th day, he noticed a fly that was persistently bothering him. And he kind of swatted it away, and in doing so, broke his vow.
Oh, no.
Disheartened, he returned to the scholar, who then instructed him to repeat the practice.
Okay.
But this time focusing on purifying not only his actions, but also his intentions.
So it's not enough to, outwardly do the right thing.
Right.
You have to actually have the right intention.
Exactly. It highlights that real transformation happens when we align not only our outward actions, but also our innermost thoughts and desires with, the divine will.
Like that story is just such a powerful illustration of how even like the smallest, most seemingly insignificant actions can actually like reveal the state of your heart, Right. And it's that reminder to like constantly be vigilant about your intentions.
Yeah.
To strive for that purity.
Exactly.
In all aspects of your being.
That's why al-Ghazali believed that true fasting, the kind that encompasses all 3 grades, has the power to transform us on a fundamental level.
Yeah.
It's not just about abstaining from food.
Right.
It's about purifying the body, the mind, and the heart.
It's about embarking on that journey of like self-discovery.
Yes.
And, connection with something greater than yourself.
Yeah.
It's about realizing your full spiritual potential.
Absolutely. And what's fascinating is that even though al-Ghazali was writing from an Islamic perspective, the principles that he outlines in The Mysteries of Fasting, they have universal relevance.
Right.
Regardless of one's religious beliefs. The idea of cultivating mindfulness, purifying our intentions, seeking deeper connection with ourselves and with something beyond ourselves.
Yeah.
That's something we can all strive for.
It's a reminder that spirituality isn't confined to any one religion or belief system.
Yeah.
It's a universal human experience.
Precisely. And that's why I think al-Ghazali's work resonates with so many people. Even today, centuries after it was written.
Yeah.
It speaks to something deep within us, a yearning for meaning and purpose, a desire to connect with something greater than ourselves.
You've given me a lot to chew on today. I'm already thinking about, my own relationship with fasting and how I can incorporate these deeper layers of meaning into my practice.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
And remember, the journey of self-discovery is ongoing. Keep exploring, keep seeking.
Yeah.
May you find peace and enlightenment along the way.
Thank you.
One thing to think about is, how can you apply the concept of fasting from something other than food in your daily life?
Yeah.
Could it be fasting from negativity, gossip, or even excessive screen time?
That's a good one. Lots to think about.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.